You're right.
Thank you. Good evening. Welcome, everyone. This is a regularly scheduled meeting of the Bangor City Council. Today is Wednesday, May 29th. It is 7:30 p.m. We begin our meetings with the Pledge of Allegiance. I'd like to ask Josh D'Alessio to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Tonight we have a proclamation, just a couple of days early, proclaiming June as Pride Month. Normally I give these proclamations away, but this one is personal and important to me, so I'm going to read the proclamation. Whereas Pride Month commemorates the Stonewall riots of June 1969, the following year, June 28, 1970, people gathered just outside the Stonewall Inn in New York City and for the Christopher Street Gay Liberation Day March, now recognized as the first Pride Parade. And whereas July 7th marks the 40th anniversary of the death of Charlie Howard, a 23-year-old gay man murdered for his sexuality in 1984, spurring the citizens of the city of Bangor to hold vigils, memorials, and protests in his memory. And whereas Pride Month is a celebration of survival and a call for equal justice and equal opportunity for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, intersex, and asexual Americans. And whereas the city of Bangor strives to be a community that is welcoming and supportive of all its members, regardless of ethnicity, gender, age, gender identity, or sexual orientation. And whereas the city of Bangor upholds the legal non-discrimination protections for LGBTQ+ Mainers passed in 2005 as one of only 25 states in the nation to include protections for discrimination based on sexual orientation, gender identity, and gender expression in employment, housing, education, credit, and public accommodations. And whereas the city of Bangor upholds the legal protections by the state of Maine, including the gender-neutral mark on driver's licenses, the prohibition of discrimination against LGBTQ+ people by health insurance companies, and the prohibition of licensed healthcare providers from practicing conversion therapy on minors. And whereas Pride Month is an opportunity to celebrate and be supportive of the hard work of the thriving Bangor LGBTQ+ community in fighting for their rights and acceptance, and acknowledge the ongoing work of the citizens of Bangor to advocate for equal rights. And whereas on Saturday, June 22nd, Bangor Pride's main event is the Pride Parade and Festival, don't miss it. And whereas the city of Bangor thanks the Health Equity Alliance and all its volunteers and sponsors in the community for working hard to make Bangor Pride 2024 representative, engaging, and affirming. Now therefore I, Cara Pelletier, Mayor of the City of Bangor, on behalf of the City Council and the citizens of Bangor, do hereby proclaim June as Pride Month in the City of Bangor and urge all community members to be respectful and supportive of their fellow citizens, regardless of race, gender, age, gender identity, or sexual orientation for this, the 54th year of Pride, given this 29th day of May, 2024. And I would like to invite Josh D'Alessio to come up from the Health Equity Alliance and receive the proclamation.
Thank you very much. This is incredibly meaningful to the organization and to the communities we represent. But I'd like to express the collaboration that's been going on in producing Pride with the city of Bangor. I haven't been involved in the captain's chair at HEAL for very long, but I keep getting reported back about the overwhelming amount of support from Betsy Lundy, Tracy with Parks and Rec, and you folks. I think it's going to be a wonderful festival, and I'm not sure what the measure is for a community that supports Pride and the LGBTQ+ community, but if it's measured by the effort that's been put in for the event and for Pride Month, it's pretty big. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, this is the portion of the meeting set aside for public comment. Public comment, whether in person or through Zoom, requires a person to state their name and whether you are a resident of Bangor. Inappropriate or offensive remarks may be interrupted and removed. The council chair has discretion over the time allowed for comment. Tonight we will have 60 minutes for public comment. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes for comment and no more. If you do not live in Bangor or own property in Bangor, please allow those who do live and own property here to have the opportunity to speak first. If you'd like to offer comment on any item not appearing on the regular agenda, please approach the podium. On Zoom, the public may be recognized to speak by the hand raise function or on the phone by pressing *9.
My name is Wayne Mallor. I live on Essex Street. And I just have been concerned about the ability of the public to speak at meetings, and I need some clarification. At a council meeting, obviously this is the time for the public to speak, but I'm concerned about committee meetings and workshop meetings. I don't know if the public is allowed or when they're allowed to speak, and I think it's important to know that. I also question when are minutes kept for the various meetings. The council meeting we obviously know about, most of the committee meetings we do, but what about the workshop meetings? And, you know, we need to know what's going on in these meetings. We need to know who's present at the meetings, because I can't accuse anyone of not doing their job if I don't know they go to all the meetings. Plus, I would like to know if the handouts given at meetings are ever presented in the minutes. I went on to look for the minutes for one of the meetings you had, I don't remember if it was tonight or a couple of weeks ago, and there were 2 handouts said to be presented at the meeting. I didn't see them in there, but when I came in tonight, I saw them on the table. But I would think that would have to be part of the permanent record. I think the city clerk keeps the record. So do you, handouts, are they kept as part of the record?
If I receive a handout, it is in the records.
But if it mentions it specifically in the meeting agenda, who presents it to the city clerk to put it in the record?
I think usually it comes from the city manager or the department head who.
So in a council meeting, the city clerk is typically present. Are you talking about?
No, I'm talking about council meetings, committee meetings, and workshop meetings.
So council meetings, the city clerk is always here, and if she is ordered to have
Correct.
handout, it gets part of the record. I don't recall handouts being part of a committee meeting or a workshop meeting, but I will make sure that we can circle back to you, Wayne.
Okay, because it's important that we know what you're basing your decisions on, and if we don't have the information, you know, we can't accuse you of anything, or we can't give you credit for anything because there's nothing there to go by. Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Justin Cartier, I live on Essex Street as well. Want to thank you for the work you're doing on the city budget. I want to commend Councilwoman Schaefer for speaking up and being the voice of reason on not spending more money on the CityWise program. I think that the 7.8% increase that you all were patting yourself on the back earlier for is not something to be proud of. We're looking at a $300 per house increase across the city of Bangor, as you talked about earlier today, and are not interested in discussing cutting any programs to get that down. I think we have 150 pennies we need to knock off that mill rate. We've already seen an increase to $264,000 median price on the property values. Just a short time ago, I believe in 2015, it was 132. So we've had a doubling over the past 8 years, which means we've had a doubling because the mill rate was 1920 in 2015 as well. Now, I commend you for getting that down from 1920, but I think we have more work to do. Instead of patting ourselves on the back and being excited about no longer having Wednesday meetings, I think we need to dig in as the elected city council and find ways to cut more money out of that budget. That $300 is what some people's food budgets are around the city of Bangor. Now, I'm blessed as a carpenter that I don't have that problem, but I do talk to a lot of people that do. Today, I was replacing steps on someone's house for no cost because they didn't have the ability to pay me for it. I went and bought the products and took care of it because it was the right thing to do. I think all of you need to really dig in and work for the people of the city of Bangor, the people that have elected you to do this hard work, to make these hard decisions, to find the places that you can cut that penny off of the mill rate, because we need 150 pennies to get that $300 increase gone. And if the elected people here in this room can't do it, then I think we, the people, need to find some new people to elect. I hope you've listened to me tonight. Thank you very much.
I'll hand those out if you want to
Oh,
start.
sure.
Okay, I'll bring it back.
Good evening, my name is Tyler Shanahan, I reside at 89 Ohio Street in Bangor. Overdose prevention centers, facilities that offer stigma-free environments and focus on harm reduction. OPCs are where people who use drugs can go to use pre-acquired substances under the supervision of trained and capable staff. On Point of New York City is home to the first recognized OPCs in the United States. After opening November 30th, 2021, a one-year baseline report found they have diverted 435,078 units of hazardous waste from improper disposal. Of 2,841 participants, the OPC was utilized 48,533 times. Staff intervened 636 times and only had to call EMS 23 times. 83% of overdoses were resolved without the need of naloxone. This does not mean that the overdoses were not serious or potentially fatal. This just demonstrates the effectiveness of the design. Because of the on-site team, they're ready to respond to the overdose the moment it happens and use alternative methods such as oxygenation, oxygen therapy, agitation, and other methods. There have been 0 deaths at the OPCs. They have averted public drug use in 81% of visits. 1 in 5 participants were referred to housing detox, treatment in primary care, or employment. More than 75% of participants were provided with wellness and stabilization services as a result of having access to safe space that the OPC provides. They offer a drop-in center, which is a safe, no barrier setting that offers respite and free services like hot meals, hygiene facilities, syringe services, digital connectivity, and most importantly, peer support. Also provided are drug testing kits and on-site lab testing for both pre-use and post-adverse reaction analysis. As an addict and a person who was street homeless, I never felt welcomed, accepted in any community, including this one in Bangor. Not in any business, not in any hospital or any park or public place. The only place I felt was any sense of acceptance was around other people who use drugs, and it was a false sense that was purely transactional. I believe that had there been an OPC, a port in the storm, for me to utilize, I would have found an embracing community of unconditional love and support that would have made me more receptive to treatment much sooner, in turn leading me to more prompt recovery. In 2023, Governor Mills enacted and signed into law LD 1364, which requires a study of these sites and provides recommendations to the legislature by February 15th, 2025. 15K has been appointed and will be available July 1st this year to initiate the study, which will be made public, so I urge everyone to follow it closely. Thank you. Any questions?
Questions from the council? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sonia Maller. I live on Essex Street. I've never spoken to you before, so this is a first for me. I've always thought that sidewalks were for people to walk on. It seems in the city of Bangor, sidewalks are not just for people to walk on. What is the city ordinance as to motorized bikes and scooters being on the sidewalks? Does anybody know? Okay. Are no non-motorized bikes or skateboards allowed on city sidewalks? Anybody know?
They are not.
Where's the chief?
Are they, Mark? Certain areas they are downtown, they are not.
What about the tree streets? We have lots of walkers in the tree streets. A lot of people walk on the sidewalks, east side, west side. We're not downtown. What can we do about this, people? I'm afraid someone is going to get run over by a motorized bike that is on a sidewalk when somebody is trying to walk. They don't see them coming, they don't hear them coming. We need to do something about our sidewalks and the ability of people to be able to walk safely on the sidewalks. Thank you.
Want to hand these out?
I was gonna say, are you gonna be giving that?
Sure. Is that mine?
Yeah.
Well, Debbie is handing it out, I assume she has to start.
No, I've started the timer, go.
Good evening, Tyler, my friend here, presented part 4 of the OPC tonight, and I thank him for that. And I'm not here to talk about that, so that's kind of nice, I'm sure.
I'm
I'm
sorry,
going to
will
be
you
very-
introduce yourself?
Oh, I'm
for folks
sorry,
watching?
my name is Scott Hardy, and I live in Bangor, I'm a resident of Bangor.
Thank you.
I'm going to be very brief tonight. I've handed this all out to you, and the picture attached shows the area almost directly across from here on the other side of the Investigate Stream. Tyler took these pictures last week, and, you know, although I think Sharp Containers was a good place to start, as a community, we're only doing half measures, and half measures avail us nothing in the end. And with all that being said, that's why, you know, I'm an adamant supporter of OPC, so I think that will make a tremendous amount of difference, and we will have parks that will be able to be used again. You know, this makes that park across the stream here on this particular site unavailable to most Bangor citizens. If we can all join together and not do half measures anymore, I think we can make a difference. And yes, there's a lot to do. You know, it's really a huge challenge, and I know that it is. I know there's legalities involved, but as a community, we've decided, and as a society, we've decided to look the other way to people injecting in the parks and throwing needles away in the parks. And it's just something that's evolved. And so now we need to take steps and all join together and try to make something really concrete that really makes a difference. If we keep doing half measures, nothing's going to change. Now, I'm here also tonight to, I really want to say this, it's a heartfelt thank you for all that you people do. I find that it's probably a very thankless job sometimes, and you hear a lot of grief, and that's probably most of what you hear is, you know, grief and discontent and hate and discontent and all that good stuff. But, you know, if we can, I'm going to go back to the OPC for a second. If we can build the OPC, you'll either be able to take credit or take the blame. But I really think that if we can end half measures, you'll be taking the credit for actually standing up and doing something very strong. So I hope that we can keep doing this, and no matter what happens, we're all the same. And you are really appreciated, all of you are really appreciated, and I appreciate your hard work. I don't know why you do it, but I appreciate it anyway. So thank you very much. Any questions? Seeing none, I'll sit down.
Hillary Simmons, and I live on the Tree Streets in Bangor. I just want to go back, and I had talked a while ago about transparency within the city government. So I'm going to go back to that a little bit. Transparency, open access to information. The city government should thrive to provide open access to information about their operations, policies, and decision-making processes. This includes making meeting minutes, it's like budget documents and other relevant information readily available to the public through website, public record requests, and other channels. Public engagement, transparent city government actively seeking input and feedback from residents, stakeholders on important decisions that affect the community. This can involve holding public hearings, town hall meetings, and online forums to gather input and ensure that diverse perspectives are considered. Ethical standards and disclosure. Transparency also includes adhering to ethical standards, disclosing potential conflicts of interest among elected officials and government employees. Clear guidelines for ethical conduct and financial disclosure help prevent corruption and maintain public confidence in government institutions. Overall, transparency and adherence are critical for promoting good governance, fostering public trust, and ensuring the city government effectively serves the needs of their communities. A couple questions also, as far as back a minute meeting from January 3rd of 24, it was the Government Operations Committee meeting in regards to the $250,000 that was allotted for public bathrooms. Within that $250,000, it says that there are pieces of art that will be included on that. There has not been any mention of artwork in that, like, I'm not saying there wasn't mention of it, it was, but of it being paid for. Question is, how much of that $250,000 have we allotted for the artwork to go on our porta potties? My other question is ARPA funds. Were there not, or my understanding is, as far as the ARPA funds, we would not approve any ARPA funds money for salaries. Is that not true? There was denial of ARPA funds applications due to the fact money was going for salary. Though the city of Bangor used ARPA money for 3 positions within the city, 2, if not 2, maybe 3 in the school board. And now us as taxpayers are required to fund those positions. Thank you.
There are others in the room wishing to speak? If not, we'll go online. I see one hand raised. Mr. Dunbar.
Hi there, good evening. You can hear me. Thanks. I don't know where I'm going with this because I intended to talk about sort of the growing disdain and worry that I feel. And oh, by the way, I live in Herman. I'm Dunbar. And I was going to speak more to the public than to the city council because you folks know my opinion on things. But about, you know, the I think growing disdain and worry about people who are unhoused and individuals who have mental health challenges, substance use disorder. But it's interesting that you read the Pride Month proclamation. And of course, this month is Mental Health Awareness Month. When I grew up in Bangor, closeted, there was a lot of disdain and a lot of unease about people who were gay. And I grew up closeted, and I remember feeling, you know, very unwelcome. And I knew there were people in the community who judged me and others just by the way we looked, or by the way we talked, or by the way we acted. And so I feel some similarity or some transference, that's not the right word, but something around the people in our community today who are unhoused, who may spend time in downtown, who don't look a certain way. They may have a shopping cart with them. They may act a little different. And there's definitely growing disdain in our community. So I was at Stonewall, by the way, on the 25th anniversary in 1994 of the Stonewall Uprising. And again, I think back to growing up and the unease and the problems with attitudes. And again, I feel like some of that is directed these days to people who are unhoused. And I agree with my friend Scott Party. By the way, Scott, I have in my trunk of my car food for the houses at 87, 89 Ohio Street. But, and I've been meaning to drop it off. But Scott's right about half measures. You know, we're not going to gain on the problems around the individuals in our community who are unhoused, who make people uncomfortable because they have a shopping cart or whatnot, until we deal with more temporary and permanent housing. And again, as I've said many times, we have fewer shelter beds today than we did before COVID. The city has zero, city-run shelters and 0 beds. The city of Portland has 2 city-run shelters with 437 beds. There's so much more we could have done, particularly with the ARPA money, if we had come together with the county. $50 million. $50 million was available, and not one additional shelter bed. Not one additional shelter bed. And again, thank you. I just worry about attitudes. We've got to do better.
Seeing no one else online or in the room, we'll move on to the consent agenda.
Minutes of Bangor City Council regular meeting of May 13th, 2024, Government Operations Committee meeting of May 6th, 2024, and Finance Committee meeting of May 20th, 2024. Liquor license renewals, application for liquor license renewal, malt wine spirits of Bryson Holdings LLC, doing business as Pepinos, 49 Park Street. Application for liquor license renewal, malt wine of Woodman's Brewing Company LLC, doing business as Orono Brewing Company, 26 State Street. Application for liquor license renewal, malt wine spirits of Trackside Grill, doing business as Trackside Grill, Bass Park Boulevard. Application for liquor license renewal, malt wine spirits of House LLC, doing business as Penobscot Poorhouse, 14 Larkin Street. Application for liquor license renewal, malt wine spirits of Arrayos LLC, doing business as Diamonds Gentlemen's Club, 190 Harlow Street. 24-151 order authorizing the execution of a municipal quitclaim deed for real estate located at 8 Fruit Street. 24-152 order authorizing the execution of a municipal quitclaim deed for real estate located at 72 Cedar Street. 24-153 order authorizing the execution of a municipal quitclaim deed for real estate located at 416 Hancock Street. 24-154 order authorizing the city manager to sign an amendment to the covenant in the municipal deed and an amendment to the development agreement for 177 Pearl Street. 24-155 order authorizing the city manager to apply for funding from the Homeland Security Grant Program in the amount of $35,000 for the purchase of an unmanned aerial system, UAS, to support police and fire operations. 24-156 order authorizing the city engineer to begin the process of discontinuing a portion of Coffee Street. 24-157 order authorizing a Commission on Cultural Development grant of $2,293 to Bangor Ballet for alleviation of administrative costs at Thomas School of Dance and venue costs at Gracie Theater. 24-158 order authorizing a Commission on Cultural Development grant of $2,293 to Bangor Beautiful Inc. for commission of a colorful multi-story mural at 116 Hammond Street depicting the Maine woods in springtime by Maine-based artist Jared Gillette. 24-159 order authorizing a Commission on Cultural Development grant of $2,293 to Maine Academy of Modern Music for support of the Amplify Bangor program. 24-160 order authorizing a Commission on Cultural Development grant of $300 to Mary Lee Schoen for reimbursement of materials and supplies purchased for a one-night pop-up art exhibit at the site of the old YMCA building. 24-161 order authorizing a temporary use agreement with Enterprise Rent-A-Car Company of Boston, LLC, for a portion of land located in the airport shuttle lot located off of Main Avenue, as well as the building structure referred to as the old COVID testing facility. 24-162, order authorizing the city manager to apply for the fiscal year FY 2024 Homeland Security Grant from the Maine Emergency Management Agency, MEMA, in the amount of $91,247 for fire and police training and operational support. 24-163, order authorizing the city manager to execute a memorandum of understanding with Maine Access Points to transfer $93,153 in naloxone for distribution throughout the state of Maine. I move passage of the consent agenda.
Second.
Excuse me.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Excuse me.
One moment, please. Questions and comments by the council? If you have a question on the consent agenda, you may
Yes, I
approach.
do. Just a procedure question. I haven't changed my name. It's Wayne Mallor. I live on Essex Street. I was just questioning why you authorize the Commission on Cultural Development every time. Is this above and beyond what they had budgeted for the year? Or is it within their budget that you're approving?
It is within your budget that they are approving, and what they are approving is the disbursement of the funds to a particular organization
Isn't
in
that,
recognition of what the cultural commission's work.
but if you awarded them the budget, I don't understand why you're approving it a second time. I guess that's my question.
We're approving the awards. The cultural commission does not have the authority to disperse funds on its own.
Okay. All right. Just seems strange. You're doing extra work.
Any other discussion? Objections? Consent agenda has passage. Moving on to referrals to committee and first reading.
24-164, ordinance amending Chapter 165 Land Development Code to increase height allowances in the multifamily and service district and urban service district and for rooftop solar arrays and rooftop mechanical equipment. First reading and referral to planning board meeting of June 4th, 2024. 24-165, ordinance amending Chapter 165 Land Development Code District Map to rezone a property located at 107 Thomas Hill Road from Urban Residence 1 District URD 1 to Urban Residence 2 District URD 2. First reading and referral to planning board meeting of June 4th, 2024. 24-166, resolve authorizing the city manager to accept and appropriate $875,589 for the Maine Prevention Network for a 12-month period beginning July 1, 2024, first reading. 24-167, resolve authorizing grant amendment to accept and appropriate $423,443 from the Overdose Prevention and Naloxone Distribution Program, first reading. 24-168, resolve appropriating special assessment funds for Bangor Center Development District expenditures to be made in fiscal year 2025, first reading. 24-169, resolve accepting and appropriating a Maine Historic Preservation Commission Certified Local Government CLG grant in the amount of $15,000, first reading. 24-146, resolve accepting and appropriating $200,000 in Maine Emergency Medical Services Stabilization and Sustainability Programs funds, first reading.
I move these items be referred.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Items are referred. Unfinished business.
Public hearing, 24-147, order authorizing multiple loans from the school revolving renovation fund and the issuance of the city's general obligation bonds and a tax levy therefore. Councilor Dean.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I move to open the public hearing for Council Order 24-147, which authorizes multiple loans from the School Revolving Renovation Fund and the issuance of the city's general obligations bonds and a tax levy therefore.
Second.
I would read the order. Are you going to read the order first? So
Yeah, go ahead and read the order first, please.
Okay.
people know what the hearing's about.
Yep.
This order will authorize 4 loans totaling $4,126,902 from the School Revolving Renovation Fund, or SRF, and the issuance of the city's general obligation funds for a portion of multi-school projects for roof and wall reconstructions. Under the School Revolving Renovation Fund, 57.06% or $2,354,810 of the loan will be forgiven, with the remainder repaid over 10 years at 0% interest. The total anticipated cost of the multi-project is $7.2 million. None of the individual loans exceed the city's charter referendum threshold for a single capital improvement, currently $1,799,725, which are subject to voter referendum unless the city council finds, determines, and declares that the emergency exists. The projects are Bangor High School $1 million loan to replace a failing exterior wall, 14th Street School $597,002 loan to replace a failing exterior wall, Fairmont School $1,529,900 loan to provide a new code-compliant roof for the heating plant, and Mary Snow School $1 million loan to replace the entire roof structure and meet code requirement. I now move to open the public hearing.
Does your second still stand? Yep. Thank you. We have a motion, we have a second. Being no objection, the public hearing is open. Seeing no one approach,
I move to close order 24 public hearing for order 24-147.
Second.
thank you. We have a motion, we have a second. Public hearing is closed.
I move for passage of Council Order 24-147.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Questions or discussion on this order? Seeing none, the order has passage.
24-148, resolve appropriating $720,600 from accounts within the general fund and capital fund to fund City Hall repointing and generator. Councillor Yakabaga.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I move the passage of Resolve 24-148.
Second.
Thank you. This resolve will appropriate a total of $720,600 from accounts within the general fund and capital fund to partially fund the repointing of City Hall and purchase a new generator for City Hall. Both projects are part of the City Hall 5-year capital plan. However, with the staff currently relocated for the ongoing City Hall renovations, there is an opportunity to move these projects forward for completion during the same project timeline. $339,000 will be appropriated from city prior year encumbrances funds within the general fund, and $381,600 will be appropriated from city construction reserve funds within the capital fund. The city prior year encumbrances amount represents funding set aside for a tax appeal which has now been settled. The construction reserve fund is comprised of unspent funds from prior projects as well as interest earnings on cash balances within the capital fund. This was reviewed and approved at the May 6, 2024 Finance Committee meeting.
Thank you, Councillor Yakabaga. We have a motion, we have a second. Questions or discussion? Seeing none, Resolve 24-148 has passage. New business.
Liquor license renewal, application for liquor license renewal, malt wine spirits of Greenleaf Bar and Grill, Inc., doing business as Carolina Sports and Spirits, 16 Union Plaza. And I will note that the police department has withdrawn its objection to this.
Okay, so it was put on the new business agenda because there was an objection. That objection has been withdrawn. Do we need to open discussion on this item? We do.
I move that we open discussion on this item.
Second.
Second. Item is open for discussion.
Seeing none, I would move to close the discussion.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Discussion is closed.
I move passage of the application for liquor license renewal, malt wine spirits of Greenleaf Bar and Grill,
doing business as Carolina Sports and Spirits.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Questions or comments? Seeing none, the renewal has passage.
Public hearing, application for special amusement license of Greenleaf Bar and Grill, Inc., doing business as Carolina Sports and Spirits, 16 Union Plaza, Council Hawes.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I would move to open the public hearings for Carolina Sports and Spirits.
Second.
A motion and a second. Public hearing is now open.
That's hard.
I don't see any hands on Zoom.
Seeing no one approach, I would move to close the public hearing.
Second.
A motion and a second. Seeing no objection, public hearing is closed.
I move passage of the application for special amusement license of Greenleaf Bar and Grill, Inc., doing business as Carolina Sports and Spirits, 16 Union Plaza.
Second.
A motion and a second. Application has passage.
Public hearing, application for special amusement license of House LLC, doing business as Penobscot Poorhouse, 14 Larkin Street, Council Hawes.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I would move to open the public hearing for the Penobscot Poorhouse for a special amusement license.
Second.
Motion and second. Seeing no objection, public hearing is open.
Seeing no one approach, I would move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion and second. Seeing no objection, public hearing is closed.
I move passage of the special amusement license of Penobscot Poorhouse, 14 Larkin Street.
Second.
Motion and second. Questions or comments? Seeing none, special amusement license is granted.
Public hearing, application for special amusement license of Arrayos LLC, doing business as Diamonds Gentlemen's Club, 190 Harlow Street, Council Hawes.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I move to open the public hearing for Diamonds Gentlemen's Club for the special amusement license.
Second.
Motion and second. Councilor Trumbull?
Just a question for the chief while we're on this 190 Harlow Street. I know when there was another business open out back that's since closed, we had a lot of issues with the neighbors and neighborhood. I'm guessing at this address, we're not having any issues since the other business closed?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So we have a motion and a second. Any objection to opening the public hearing? Public hearing is open.
I'm sorry about that. I thought we were in the.
That's all right.
Don't really know. Seeing no one approach, I would move to close the public hearing for the special amusement license.
Second.
Motion and second. Public hearing is closed.
I would move passage of the application for special amusement license of Arrayos LLC, doing business as Diamonds Gentlemen's Club, 190 Harlow Street.
Second.
Motion and second. Additional questions or discussion? Seeing none, the item has passage.
Public hearing, 24-170 order, Bangor Center Development District, establishment of implementation assessments. Councilor Fish.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I move to open the public hearing of Council Order 24-170, which establishes the Bangor Center Development District Assessment.
Second.
The Downtown Bangor Partnership has requested 0.07 cents increase, increasing their revenue of $25,746. If approved, the assessment rate will be 63 cents per $1,000 of assessment valuation for this Bangor Center Development District and 2 cents per $1,000 of assessment valuation for the overlay. In total, the special assessment will raise approximately $231,721 on properties located in the Bangor Center Development District. The proposed budget for the Bangor Center Management Corporation Downtown Bangor Partnership for the 2024-2025 program is $652,976.67. Anticipated additional revenues include the requested funds of $340,000 for the services from Street Plus, $43,746.12 from the downtown TIF funds, and $5,000 from the sponsorships, events, and marketing. This was reviewed and recommended at the council workshop on May 15th, 2024. I move to open public hearing.
Thank you, Councillor Fish. We have a motion and a second. Public hearing is open.
Seeing no one,
That's a problem.
I'm not sure if this is where I should ask the question or in the next item, but I'm curious about the $340,000 that's going for safety and security. Is that, it's not going to our police department, it's going to an outside service group, is that correct?
That is the request, yes. The request is still under consideration by the city council and no final determination has been made.
But you approved it as far as
We're approving it
recommending
down,
it.
but the only thing that we're appropriating at this point is the $231,000 of the special assessment district.
Okay, that's why, so it's,
Yeah.
the next item is where I should question.
Well, we're gonna say the same thing. This is the original budget that was submitted by the Downtown Bangor Partnership. We are accepting it as their plan, but we have not appropriated the funds, nor have we committed to an appropriation at this point for the $340,000. We hope to be able to have that come back in a council workshop on June 10th.
But it was reviewed and recommended, the budget.
So the budget, in essence, they were supportive of their plan. They were supportive of raising the additional assessment money. They have not funded the additional program.
Where does our police stand with this additional group of people that will be policing the downtown?
I believe that ensuring the safety and security of individuals downtown is also a benefit of the police department. But clearly, the police chief can speak for it.
So we had conversation at the government ops meeting on this particular topic, and we're supportive of this. I mean, I think the downtown police officer will work in partnership with this group.
So it'll give us, I'm just thinking about myself, it'll give us more access to the police because you'll have less debt to do downtown?
Sure.
No, don't say that. I don't like it when you agree like that.
I think the two opportunities overlap, but there are different expectations. The police officer and this group will have different expectations, but they will overlap and work in conjunction with each other.
These will not be weapon-carrying officers?
No. They're more ambassadors.
Ambassadors,
Yes, sir.
okay. So they have no control over people, really?
Yes, that's correct.
All right,
They
thank
cannot
you.
cite them or arrest them or fine them.
They
That's
can't
not-
do
that's-
anything.
They
It's-
can encourage them to change behavior or redirect people or help people find something that they're looking for.
But we could do that with a volunteer program too, couldn't we?
And if you'd like to volunteer, I'm sure the Downtown Partnership would love to have you.
We love volunteers.
I'm not being
No, I know that, but I'm just saying, did we consider volunteers? I have never seen anything about volunteers.
Sir, after the meeting, I'd be happy to chat with you and we can chat further. Volunteers or
Folks in the room, the additional discussion cannot be picked up by the microphone, which means it's not accessible for people watching online. So you're welcome to have conversations out in the hall or with counselors after the meeting is over. Thank you. Where were we? We had
is
a
there any-
motion and a second to open the public hearing.
That was the public hearing.
That was the public hearing. Is there anyone else wishing to speak on this topic before we close the public hearing? Okay, I think we're ready to entertain a
Okay.
motion.
Okay, I propose we close the public meeting at this time.
Right, we have a motion and a second to close the public hearing.
I move for passage of Council Order 24-170.
I have to close the public hearing first. Give me just a moment. We had a motion and a second. Public hearing's closed.
I'm just too anxious to get. Okay, now I move for passage of Council Order 24-170.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion or questions by the council? Seeing none, the motion has passage.
Public hearing, 24-171, order adopting municipal development program and financial plan for the Bangor Center Development District. Councilor Fournier.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I'm going to read the order first, then I'll open up the public hearing. This order will adopt the municipal development program and financial plan for the Bangor Center Development District. This is for the City Council to consider the program to be implemented for the Bangor Center Development District. The program has been prepared by the Bangor Center Management Development Corporation, Downtown Bangor Partnership. The budget highlights include marketing, $78,740.58. Beautification, $43,825.09. Events, $48,282.30. Networking and outreach, $8,507.69. Safety and security, $420,000. General and administration, $53,621.01, for a total of $652,976.67. This was reviewed and recommended at the council workshop on May 15th of this year. With that being said, I'll ask for a motion to open the public hearing for Order 24-171.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Public hearing is open.
I have a question in regards to this, to the 420,000, sorry, my name's Hillary Simmons, I'm from the Tree Streets. Safety and security, the 420,000, I think it's a little premature as far as we just have a new beat cop downtown that's starting. We have, or we're hiring 2 park rangers, part-time park rangers that are supposed to be assisting. We've just added porta potties to the area to help. So why not allow some of those things to implement themselves before we budget $420,000 for safety and security? Let's put some things in place, see where that goes, and go from there, instead of just rushing to spend more money, that tax burden on the taxpayers. Thank you.
Councilor Fournier?
So I think we kind of answered that previously with Wayne and the city manager. But just, and this is why I emphasize, this is for the city council to consider the program. It isn't saying we're doing it.
No, I understand that.
Okay.
I'm just putting another perspective out there too.
If you have additional comments, please first put in. Sorry, I'm trying to keep the meetings as accessible as possible for people who may watch online.
I mean, let's see the implementation of the new things that you have implemented and see if that maybe changes behavior, actions beforehand, before spending additional funds. I mean, we just, 2 porta potties are going out here. I don't know, the cop just started Monday, Tuesday. He's a Tuesday through Friday. So, I mean, it just starts, let's kind of see. It's not like these are new issues. So what's another 6 months to a year? Thank you.
And I'd just like to add one point of clarification. She shared that, that I just want to be clear that the additional money related to whether or not the city contributes to this program is being raised within the special assessment district outside of that. So it is not part of the neighborhood tax bill. And I think part of the discussion, obviously, when the city council makes a final determination, it heard other concerns and comments similar to yours. And I hope you heard them earlier tonight in your budget workshop about being very concerned about the residential property taxpayer, so.
Thank you. Are others wishing to comment on this? Yes.
So I didn't want to have to speak.
Please introduce yourself
I'm
and tell us
James.
if you are a resident of Bangor.
Yeah, I will. So I'm James Gallagher. I'm a resident of 35 Main Street, 6 Water Street, and 76 Main Street. I also rest my eyes a few hours a night in Little City. So I am in Bangor 24/7. This is everything that I am. I love Bangor, but we do have a security problem. I understand that people don't want to spend the extra money, but we need help downtown. We are forced with problems every single day. We call the police, and we appreciate you, but they take 20 to 30 minutes to approach us, if they can even get out of their car, because there's other problems that they have to attend to. In just the 2 short days that we've had the police beat, we have seen a huge change downtown. But this isn't the time to take the foot off the gas. We have to keep going. Street Plus, it may seem like a lot of money, but it's not. People don't understand where we have needles coming into our store every single day. We have machetes, we have people that are very aggressive with us. We need people there outside of the 9 to 7 that the police beat is there. We do thank you for bringing the police beat and hearing us. It helps a lot. In the past 6 months, we've had over 10,000 stolen from us. We've had drugs dropped at our cash registers. We've had needles. We've had, I can't even begin to explain what we've had to deal with owning a business downtown. We need help. This is the time. We can't stop now. We have to keep going. We've had dirty needles in our bathrooms, so we've had to close our bathrooms. We want to have bathrooms open to the public, but we just can't do it because I can't clean up dirty needles. I can't expect my employees to as well. We need Street Plus, we need the help. We just need to feel like we're not sitting ducks there. I think that's the biggest problem for us. So, yeah. Please consider Street Plus, we really need it.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Eric Meehan. I live at 30 Vernon Street. I'm just going to read a list of people. Amanda Coburn, artist and owner of Main Jewelry. Annette Dodd, owner, Rock Art Shop. Brian Hendricks, executive director of the Bangor Symphony Orchestra, now executive director of the Friends of Katahdin Woods and Waters. Eric Moon, Rudden Winchell. Greg Edwards, Fast and Smith. Karen Rand, WBRC. Nazrin Dixon, First National Bank. Rachel Dobbs, Patty Murphy's. Robbie Beaton, Epstein Properties. Stephanie LaPlante, WBRC. Summer Allen, Valentine Footwear. Tim Ward, Sea Dog Room. Ben Treat, director of our public library. Jesse Pottle, Haley Ward. Laura Supica, state rep, server, former employee of mine. Sandra Klausemeyer, Bangor Savings Bank. Abe Firth, Orono Brewing and Firth Properties. Ellen Metzger, Print Bangor. Bev Uhlenhake, Sky Villa Properties, former mayor of Brewer, head of the Democratic Party of Maine. Chris Rudolph, Waterfront Concerts. Imka Jandro, Yoga, Friends of Kenduskeag Extreme, etc. Phil Henry, Canuck Investments. Wayne Johansson, Camara Coffee. Sarah Gluick, CEO of ERA Dawson and a resident. Owen, Eric Meehan, owner of Bangor Wine and Cheese Company. These are all people that have served on the board of the Downtown Bangor Partnership since we have started requesting these services. I am not suggesting anything except the obvious, which are that these are people who have given blood, sweat, tears, money, and are only asking for something that we have researched for years, something that we believe in, not because of self-interest, Not because we want rent-a-cops. Street Plus are not rent-a-cops. They do not carry weapons. They are ambassadors. And by the way, it is important to note, with respect, that people carrying guns are not always the best people to be approaching the people with the problems we are dealing with right now. These are people trained. These are people that will be contracted by the city. And if the return on investment is not such, that contract is null and void, isn't it? If we are wrong, very little has been lost. And I hate to say it, but you can say I told you so. But what if we're right? What if we're right? And you all get to say, hey, we did the right thing. We partnered with all these people and did the right thing. Wouldn't that be glorious? Wouldn't it be glorious to have things be better?
Is there anyone else wishing to speak on this topic?
Seeing no one approach, I'll close the public hearing.
Second.
A motion, we have a second. Public hearing is closed.
Make a motion for order 24-171.
Second.
Motion and a second. Seeing no objections, order 24-171 has passage. This brings us to the end of the regular scheduled agenda. Any questions or comments from city staff? Thank you for being here tonight. Closing comments from councilors. Councilor Dean.
I will just say good night and thank you for coming out.
Councilor Schaefer.
I just wanted to say that I attended the parade on Saturday and Monday, sorry. It's a long week. But, you know, it's not a happy parade. It shouldn't be Happy Memorial Day. It's a time of remembrance. But one of the things that have been really glad to see over the last few years is a resurgence of the Bangor Schools marching bands. So the Bangor High School marched, as well as the combined middle schools band, and they work really hard to do that, and it's something that did not exist for a long time. So I just wanted to commend the schools on getting a marching band back in place for that. I do hope the parade organizers in the future don't put it wasn't Bangor, but the fire truck directly behind the band, blaring its sirens. It was an out-of-town fire department. Yeah, no, I was actually really impressed because we were like, oh, someone's coming, and I was, because I actually think, I know you guys like your sirens, but I actually find them really distracting. And I also noticed that the firemen who were blaring the sirens are the only ones who weren't wearing ear protection. So our guys had ear protection, I think there is ear protection, and they weren't blaring the sirens. And it was nice, you know, the lights are great, so I appreciated that. But it was nice to see the schools do that. I also wanted to congratulate the 2 Bangor high schools are graduating over the next 2 weeks before our next council meeting. So John Babs graduates this Sunday, and a couple of us in the room have students attending that, and Bangor High graduates the following Sunday. Both of those will happen in our Cross Center, which I just raved about for my Husson commencement. Again, it's a building for the public, and it's great to see it used that way. And so I just want to wish those high school graduates congratulations, and whatever they may do, whether it's college, community college, the trades, the military, the workforce, I hope that they always consider Bangor their home. Thank you. Good night.
Councilor Fournier.
Boy, I can't tell you about the Bruins, but I'm really rooting for the Celtics. Good night.
Councilor Chuggle.
Good night.
Councilor Yakobaga.
Good night.
Councilor Haas.
Good night.
Councilor Fish.
Good night.
Thank you. I couldn't let Memorial Day go by without thanking my Bumpa, Ernie Pelletier, who spent his life growing up in the mills in Lewiston, went off to fight in D-Day and came home with 4 Bronze Stars and never spoke about it to his granddaughter once. only found out after he passed away what a hero he was. So Memorial Day is very important and special to me. Very thankful to all of those who have fought to defend our freedom, our right to have city council meetings, bless their hearts, and have done it with honor and pride for their families and for the rest of us in our future. So thank you, Bumpa. Thank you all for being here tonight.